This is called the gifts of logic. How can we know what is true when our brain's sense of normal has been skewed by our environment and upbringing? Are there some principles or rules we can use to check whether what our brain is telling us is true or not? Is there a way to discover the inaccuracies of our beliefs? A way to understand what must be true so that we create the results we truly want of joy, peace, abundance, and healing, the results of more good and less bad in our lives and the lives of others? Absolutely. We can use logic to discover what must be true. I will teach you a few simple logic rules that you can start applying everywhere as a check on what you tell yourself and what others tell you or imply. But first, we must have the courage to question everything. That is the journey of discovery. It starts with growing up. Growing up means no longer believing that your parents, teachers, or the government are the source of perfectly accurate and infallible information. Who still thinks that, right? No longer accept everything you are told as true. Recognize you must take responsibility to seek out what is true. This is your life, not theirs. Take responsibility to decide what your story is and what your goals are. Then find a way to create it. Most people never make the full shift from child to adult. They continue to want others to be responsible for their lives and to spoon feed them beliefs. But then they must live under the control of the one who is willing to take that responsibility. If we are holding false and contradictory beliefs in our mind about what is true, we are capable of being functionally evil. The beginning of wisdom is to recognize and to ask, is this belief or standard true? How can I know if this is true or not? Do not ask whether something is true based on any group or peer norms and standards. Do not follow any belief or standard blindly. You must have a process to test each belief rigorously. For example, I was brought up to believe that suffering is godly. What are the logical implications of that belief? If punishment purifies the soul, it is implied, therefore, that I should intentionally allow or inflict suffering on others, like children or religious devotees, to make them better. Should I choose to prolong my suffering through accepting guilt and shame to become more quote unquote godly, right? No. Our goal is to create more good and more joy for ourselves and others to experience. It's a choice we each make for ourselves to take responsibility for our own lives and to seek more good. Have you noticed that when you are joyful, you also have energy? How is your energy when you are sad or in pain? Joy is energy. Joy is energy. The belief that my body belongs to anyone other than me, including God, who gave it fully to me to be responsible for, is an incorrect idea. The implications of that idea are devastating because it opens the door to terrible abuses such as theft, rape, and slavery on an individual level, racial and gender violence, forced labor, or even mass suicide like Jonestown on a group level, or conscription of men to fight wars and atom bombs dropped on entire cities on a national or governmental. Once we correctly understand that we have a right to our own bodies, we can seek to understand what else we can know that logically flows from that foundation. We can ask, does society match the logical understanding we have built? What happens when it does not? My goal is to inspire you to question your core beliefs so you can reveal reality. When we can liberate our minds through curiosity, questioning, and comparing, we can recognize when what we are being told doesn't match up, and we can declutter our thinking from false beliefs. We don't want to merely switch one belief for another. Instead, let's figure out what is true with a direct, logical approach. Let's have the courage to keep seeking even when the answer is not immediately apparent, and not settle for a partial truth that feels comfortable. Let's liberate our mind. In every instance I have encountered, recognizing what is true versus what is false creates a better outcome in the long run, although it may create initial discomfort when identifying and rooting out a contradictory belief. As I have discovered more things that are true, my life has gotten much easier. I've become happier, and I am free to create good for myself and others. Although I still face my fear when challenging any remaining cherished beliefs, I have much more confidence than when I started because I have experienced the positive results in every area of my life. Now, instead of acting out of societal defaults and hiding from my fears and trauma, I'm excited to go digging. I know that when I unearth that fear or story, I can shift it and my life immediately becomes better. Better means happier, more joyful and peaceful and more effective. The more lies you live with, the more 2 plus 2 will not equal 4. You will not get the result you expect. So the brain, when you don't get the result you expect, the brain interprets this as a failure to achieve your goal or not getting what you want. When you do not achieve a goal, the brain sends you pain signals. For example, if you have an inaccurate belief about property rights, sex is natural and sexual desires are natural. Therefore, you should engage children in sex to teach them to have a positive attitude about sex and their bodies. False. Inaccurate beliefs about how to help children have a positive attitude towards sex result in their lives being devastated by sexual abuse. What about beliefs that you know are inaccurate, but you consider beneficial anyway? For example, many people think inaccurately about confidence. They want to believe, I am better than I actually am. This false confidence may help you to act in the moment, but in the end, it will have negative repercussions. It amounts to believing that you are already good at something before you do it. So if you are trying, if your brain is trying, right, to achieve false confidence or to believe it's already good at something when you've never done it before, right? Logically, you will subconsciously avoid situations and tasks that would challenge that belief. You will live in fear of your confidence or ability being proven wrong. True confidence is different. I don't have to believe I'm already good at something. I can admit I suck at it now, but I understand the process to improve, and I know that I can follow that process. Therefore, I know that I will improve and be able to be good at it with time and practice. This is the natural process of mastery, and it implies nothing that is false about my worth as an individual. Confidence built on this foundation is accurate and therefore more helpful overall in approaching new situations, learning new things, and creating new relationships. I've experienced that the best intentions paired with inaccurate beliefs can create terrible harm. The more correct ideas we can understand, reveal, gather, create, right, the happier we will be and more effective we will be at achieving our goals. Each person's fundamental goal is simply this: to increase the good that we experience and to decrease the bad. That is the motivation for pretty much everything we do in life.